Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Torie, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. Football season is in full swing, and I'm personally super excited because I love football. So, I thought I would do some stories based around football. So this is fantasy league, this is regular football, this is college, this is professional, all the footballs. So we're going to be looking at some Am I the A-holes and judging for ourselves who is and who isn't. So, here we go. I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Am I the a-hole for confronting my husband for double booking our date? We are starting off strong. So here's some background for reference. A husband and I have been married for almost 15 years, no children. We moved into a home and were unprepared for about $25,000 worth of repairs after we closed on our home about a year ago. We both have multiple jobs to offset this. We both have one full-time job, and then we both have a part-time job to address the added costs. Because of this, our time together has been very limited. I miss him. So as part of my birthday weekend, because my real birthday fell on a Monday, we decided to make sure we're both off on Saturday, where we can go to our favorite winery and eat some oysters that we love at the local oyster bar. Then we would get to spend the evening together. We planned this about a month in advance. Yesterday was my birthday, and my husband informs me that he has fantasy football on the day we have planned. I was a little shocked by this, so I didn't make a fuss about it. But the more I thought about it over the night, the more upset I became by it. So this morning, I told him that I was really looking forward to our day together, and I'm hurt that our day is going to be impacted by fantasy football. The winery and oyster bar we like to go to is about 2 hours away from our home, so being back in time for his fantasy football get-together will impact how much time we have there. Moreover, if we do go to the winery and oyster bar, my focus now on this day will be about how much time we have left before we have to leave, rather than having no time constraints at all. Overall, I'm just really disappointed. This day was not only supposed to be time to celebrate my birthday, last year of my 30s, but more importantly, this is an opportunity to spend some much-needed quality time together without any other distractions. When I told my husband about my feelings this morning, he became defensive, citing his limited schedule to do things, which he's correct. I acknowledge this, but also pointed out that we had these plans in advance. Maybe it wasn't fair for me to say, but I did tell him that I would have put him as a priority and that I was always taught that once you make plans, you stick to them. Not making new plans if they ended up popping up. Well, that comment didn't go over very well. Anyway, at this point, and not out of hate, I feel like we should just wait to reschedule the day altogether. But on a side note, he took off another day in which there is a Nirvana cover band playing in September on a Friday, in which I can't go because I'm working, but he will go to that with his friends. To be fair, he offered me one of the seats to the table he reserved on that date, but I turned it down because I'm working, and I'm fee for service and trying to make up for time lost when I had COVID. I guess I just need guidance and maybe some clarity. Am I the a-hole for confronting him that I'm feeling upset that he didn't make me a priority on this day we had planned in advance? Respectfully, a disappointed wife. No, you're not the a-hole. Listen, I have a lot of thoughts about this. If it wasn't your birthday, I think that maybe you could chalk it up to a misunderstanding. Maybe, because men are forgetful. And you could say, oh man, maybe we'll reschedule this. But it's your birthday. I don't know about you, but when it's my birthday, or when it's Josh's birthday, or when it's a family member's birthday, that day is theirs. You don't impede on it. You don't say, oh, that's great, but we're gonna do that. That is their day, and you shut up and you do the day. You don't mess with it. And he's your husband of 15 years. He knows that he should know it's your birthday, and he should not know. Fantasy football? Really? Not that, I'm not, I get fantasy football is fun. I get it. But he doesn't have to go. It's your birthday celebration. Also, I understand the whole being anxious about, oh my gosh, we only have this much time left, because same girl. Also, who does he do fantasy football with? Is it with his friends from work? That's a question I have. Because I know a lot of times the men that they do fantasy football with are from work, and if it's them, he's already with them all the time. That makes it a big difference for me. If it's friends that he doesn't ever get to see, or friends that he works with. Either way, no. I get that he didn't have a say in, scheduling it. Probably, everyone was just we'll do it on this day. But he knew well in advance, because he took the day off so that you guys can do your thing, and he probably thought you wouldn't care. He probably was just oh, she won't think it's a big deal. And I don't like that. So, no, you're not the a-hole. He is. Let's see what the comments say. Not the a-hole. Your husband just clearly showed you how much he values you. Do with that information what you will. Thank you. Thank you. Not the a-hole is a longtime fantasy football player and league commissioner. I'd never consider skipping a date with my wife for fantasy football. That's what I thought. Like, I've never personally participated in fantasy football, but I know how it works. My friends have done it. Josh has done it. And I know that, like, you don't skip. Like, it's like you can go if you can go, you know? You're not his priority and should not feel guilty that you told him so. Not the a-hole. Husband, well, what did you do for his birthday? That's what I'm saying. I think your husband's gotten a little too comfortable, and he's like, nah, she'll get over it. Next one. Am I the a-hole for nagging my boyfriend when he was having fun with his buddies? My boyfriend last night was drinking beers and watching a football game with his buddies. Oh, by the way, all of these are from the past month, so these are pretty new. Just thought I would add that. I didn't have anywhere to go, so I stayed in and decided to work on my college project that was due in a week or so in the kitchen. They had ordered pizza and chicken wings, and they put all the food on the floor instead of the table because there wasn't enough space. I told him to put it on the table instead, but he ignored me and told me he'd clean it himself later. Anyway, I was trying to focus on studying, but whenever a goal was scored, they would get loud, so I had to go sit outside on the balcony to completely focus. At one point, they were making so much noise, I had to go back inside to scold them like I was their mom to pipe down and let me do my homework. My boyfriend told me sorry, but they were watching a football game. What did I expect? And I told him that it was inconsiderate of him to not think about my studies. He told me that I wasn't even studying, and I was also making FaceTime calls, but I told him it didn't matter. I had those calls to ask my friends about the project. After his friends left, he cleaned up thankfully, but he left a drink on the floor, so I kindly reminded him to clean it up. He got fed up with me and told me to stop nagging him like I'm his mom, and I should try to have fun once in a while. We still haven't made up. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, I would say you are. So this is the thing about living with your significant other. You're going to have to compromise. It's not your space. It's not his space. It's both of your spaces. And you could have very easily gone to a coffee shop to study. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but you could have. You could have gone in your bedroom to study. You could have gone to a library. You could have gone to so many places. And yeah, they could have probably gone to a bar or something, but it's not the end of the world. And I feel like them putting their food on the floor, like, I don't know, I feel like that was considerate of him, and him cleaning it up without you even having to, like, say anything, like, oh, you missed a drink, like, it could be a lot worse. He could have just not cleaned it up at all. So I feel like, I don't know, like, maybe I'm looking through the lens of, like, the bare minimum here, like, he did the bare minimum, so I'm like, wow, he's a keeper, but I'm like, I feel like it's a shared space. Like, you live together, so you need to work through, like, compromise. It's not hard to, like, go to a coffee shop if you need to concentrate, or put noise-canceling headphones in. There's a lot of, like, options here. Someone commented, they put quotes, so I stayed in and decided to work on my college project. That sentence alone makes me think he was already watching the game with his friends when he decided to work on your project. You knew he was going to be there with friends, possibly making a food-related mess, but definitely making a lot of noise. I was thinking that too. Like, the way she said it was like he didn't know she was going to be doing that. If you were planning to study and he decided to spring this on you, that's one thing. But according to your post, the opposite happened. You didn't need to be there studying at that point. You chose to be there because you didn't have anywhere to go. So yes, definitely, you're the a-hole. Not just for nagging him, but for basically manipulating the situation so that you could spend the entire evening nagging him. No wonder he's upset at you. What a shitty night for him and his friends, with his nagging old granny yammering at them every 10 minutes about something they were doing wrong. They probably won't come back, which is probably what you were aiming for, huh? That's true. Like, I didn't even think about that. It's like, it's kind of giving entitled. Someone else, you're the a-hole. You knew about his plans beforehand. It's not like he sprung this on you while you were trying to study. You could have asked him not to have friends over before the event or made plans to study elsewhere. You don't get to scold him for behaving as expected during the social gathering. Yeah, I mean, that crossed my mind of the she didn't plan to study until after the friends were there, but I didn't even mention it. Like, it's not like this was set up already. So, would I be the a-hole for leaving a fantasy football league after my only connection to it got divorced? Ooh. My cousin was married to this guy who invited me to a fantasy football keeper league that has been going on for 9 or more years. I've been in for 2 of those years. The guy who is my ex-cousin-in-law is the only person I know in this group. I've never even met the rest. Last year, my cousin and this guy separated pretty suddenly and are on the path to getting divorced. Nothing nasty, just a pretty sudden, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore discussion, followed by her moving out. She still loves him, but they're not reconciling, and I don't really feel like I want a connection with him anymore since he's moving further and further away from any part of my life. I've been planning on leaving all off season, but it's hardly been my top priority, and today the league renewed. So would I be the a-hole? No. It's not that deep. Like, fantasy football is not that deep. That's all I'm going to say at that. Moving on. Am I the a-hole? My husband wants to go to a college football game with people we haven't seen in 2 years. I have a horrible attitude and I absolutely freaking know it. Well, we're off to a great start. However, my husband has an old friend that we have not seen since 2022 when husband was in his wedding. Okay, they literally never talk. All of a sudden, friend calls and says, hey, I got some extra tickets to a football game 3 hours away. My husband and I do not watch sports, never have. Literally don't care about football, especially. Our oldest daughter plays softball and we love it, but we literally do not watch football. So my husband freaking signs us up for us to go. I literally do not talk to the other guy's wife. Only met her at their wedding 2 years ago. I told my husband he could just go. I don't want to, and he pretty much guilted me. We both work 40 plus hours a week, and I'm away from my girls all week, and the weekend is the only time I literally don't have to leave them, and I'm sure, damn sure, don't want to spend it at a random ass college football game. I've been out of college 5 years. I asked that we drive our own car so we can leave when I'm ready. He says, no, we're all riding together. Is it me? Am I just being shitty? Yes, you are. First off, how do you know who he does and doesn't talk to unless you're going through his phone? Because Josh has friends that he does and doesn't talk to. Or whatever. But, like, I don't know how often they communicate. It's because I'm not going through his phone. Second, is that second or third? Anyway, why does that matter anyway? Like, if he says he wants to go with a friend, like, who, it's an old friend. Like, he's close enough to him that he was in his wedding. Why does it matter? If they want to reconnect, I would be overjoyed. I'd be like, yes, more friends. And I'd be like, cool, potential new friend for me. I get to know this woman. Awesome, built-in friendship. Like, why, what's with the negativity? Like, yes, you're girls, but you're gonna have more time with your girls. And college football games are fun. Even if you don't watch sports, I think the energy's fun. I think the vibes are fun. I think people watching is fun. Tailgating, like, all of it. I think it's a fun fall activity. So maybe I'm in the minority, but yeah, no, you have a terrible attitude. Okay, someone said info. Why do you not see your kids during the week? Both of my parents work 40, 50 hours a week and I saw them plenty. Can you not socialize for some reason? I see them when I pick them up at 5:30. We get home at 6. I cook supper. We hang out bedtime at 8. It doesn't seem like a lot of time to me. I mean, that's regular time. Someone said you seem to be trying to make excuses for why not to go, but your excuses aren't really holding much salt. Yeah, everyone's roasting her. There are plenty of things my husband wants to do that I don't necessarily want to or feel like doing. However, being married means you sometimes have to do exactly that. I think you should go and try to be friendly and try to have fun. That part. Like, maybe she'll find she actually enjoys it. Next one. Mother a-hole driving husband and friends to football game. Driving husband as we've been together for almost 20 years but not married, and friends to a football game. I asked to bring along a friend, which is actually husband's sister. No problem for him, as the game is 2 hours away and I don't want to be by myself the whole day. I was talking to the wife of one of the guys going, husband's cousin, whose brother is going as well, and she said, oh, that sounds fun. I want to go. I'll get a driver and car, and we can have fun while we're there at the game. I did not see any harm in thinking it sounds fun, too, and being as it's all family, I didn't believe it was a big deal. Fast forward, I tell my husband he blows up. I had her cancel it because he's mad she did that. And now he is telling me I need to move out in a few words other than I'm kicking him out. What? I understand I should have asked before I told her it was fine. I also didn't realize it was a guy's trip, as was the reason they didn't want her there. She was the only person that was extra from the original plan. Her brother's wife was invited but cannot go, and she offered to pay for it all. Another reason citing as being pissed, it did offer to pay as well. Now he is saying he isn't going because I ruined it for him, and because I told her to cancel, it makes him look like the asshole because he was mad. Am I the a-hole? I truly thought it would be fun. Turns out I was wrong. This is controlling. This is scary. That's very scary. I don't like his reaction. A little violent for my taste. Yeah, no, you're not. Because the way I understood this, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, is you and the sister who were originally going, the husband's sister, were going to go do your own thing. And then the other girl was going to come and do her own thing with you while the guys went to the game, right? Did I understand that correctly? Either way, you guys are going to be doing your thing, and then they're going to be doing their thing. Like, even if you went to the football game, they can still do their own thing, and you girls can, like, huddle and talk amongst yourselves. Like, I don't see the problem here. Like, even, like, I don't understand why he's like, oh, guys trip. Like, no, it would still be a guy's trip. Like, you want her to drive you, but if you're not getting anything out of it, then, like, suddenly it's a problem. Like, no, screw you. I don't like this. I would break up with him over that. He wants you to move out? Do him one better. Break up with him. Not the a-hole. Why did he ask you to drive if it was a guy's trip? You're not a chauffeur. You're not a slave. Your husband is really controlling. If I were you, I would refuse to drive him. You're doing him a favor. He shouldn't complain. My thoughts exactly. Not the a-hole, and take his offer and move out. Anyone who can flip like that shouldn't be in a relationship. Facts? Huh? WTF is he pissed about? Did he have some nefarious plans for the game that you weren't supposed to know about? Not the a-hole. I am very confused. I mean, you're clearly not the a-hole, but I don't understand the reaction your hopefully soon-to-be ex-husband had. I can't walk through the process he had to reach such a reaction. Some people are saying everyone's the a-hole because, like, she made plans without telling him, but I feel like it's not that she didn't tell him, she just didn't tell him immediately. Like, she was like, oh, by the way, like, so-and-so's coming. Like, I don't think that was, like, a malicious thing. Like, that was with ill intent, like, an asshole intent. Like, she just did that because she, like, didn't tell him yet. Like, it was normal. That was crazy. That one shook me. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my mother on my trip to an out-of-state football game? So a year ago today, I told my uncle I want to go to more college football games. I called him up earlier this year to discuss... Wow. Talking. Not my specialty. I called him up earlier this year to discuss going to a Michigan Wolverine football game. I kept following up with him throughout the year. At first, I wanted it to just be him and I. Eventually, when I called him up again, I asked for him to ask my cousins to see who would want to go. I just found out a few days ago that everyone, 10 of us, will be going, with cousins coming in from Chicago and me coming from the South. Mom lives here too. I told my mom, and she got all excited and said she wanted to go as well. Internally, I didn't think this was very smart, as she just got back from a month vacation in Italy and was going on another one next month, and she needs to look for work, so she currently doesn't have a job. I half thought she wasn't serious, but she asked me to look for plane tickets, etc. for her. During my lunch break yesterday, we discussed how we were doing payment for tickets, and so he told me to go ahead and pay for them, and they will Venmo me. After 30 minutes or so of looking between ticket sites, I finally buy 10 tickets. When I talked to my mom today, she is upset that I didn't buy her a ticket to the game. I was wanting to do a solo trip and wasn't originally planning on everyone coming, but was happy about it. I feel like she was trying to guilt trip me with the conversation that we had. I eventually told her that I semi-forgot that she wanted to go because she just mentioned it to me the other day. I just wanted to go on a solo trip to see my cousins and grandma. Is it wrong that I didn't want my mother tagging along? I called my grandma to get her opinion on it because it kind of bugged me. Well, what was your grandma's opinion? That's it. That's the end. Okay, here's my thoughts. It's not your decision to decide what your mom should do. You can give your mom advice, but you shouldn't punish your mom and say, no, you're not allowed to go because you should look for a job. She's an adult. She raised you and gave birth to you. She's an adult. She can make her own decisions, and if she wants to go to the game, who are you to tell her no? That's kind of controlling. Kind of ick. I don't like that. You're the a-hole. I just found out a few days ago that everyone, 10 of us, will be going. Everyone but your mom. Also, it's not like it's 3 people. It's literally 10 people. Please, give me a break. But she asked me to look for plane tickets for her. Send her the info and let her buy her tickets herself. Exactly. You're the a-hole, obviously. What is there to even question? You intentionally excluded your mother from a family event after telling her it was happening. Is it wrong to not want your mom everywhere? No. But it was rude and inconsiderate to tell her and then intentionally leave her out. Like, what the F, bro? Tacky. Exactly. Exactly. Like, it's literally a family vacation at this point. A family trip. A family get-together. And you're gonna pull that? Mm-mm. Okay. Let's do one more. And this one is 3 days old, so spicy. Am I the a-hole for canceling plans because there's a football game on? Okay, so my sister and I made plans to go for coffee and a bookshop trip. We did this a lot, but haven't in a while because she's been waiting for payday. We made plans to go today and be home in time for the football later. The football, that kind of cracks me up. I don't know. However, we both slept in a bit. She said it was fine, we'd make it back. I said, let's not risk it and let's just go tomorrow instead. So we are still going to go, just not today. Her issue is that, her words. I do this every time because we can push plans around. We live together. I'll cancel on her for other things. Her issue isn't necessarily that we are going tomorrow instead, but that I'm pushing plans again for something else. Choosing something over her repeatedly. But if we have the ability to push things, I don't see the big deal. We can go tomorrow and there would be absolutely no issues. I get to enjoy football. We both go out tomorrow. It works. This is frequently a source for arguments between us. Beyond that, we are super close. Like, if I make plans with her for the weekend, but a friend randomly reaches out, I cancel our plans and go with the friends, because we can rearrange easily, whereas I can't with friends. I get it's annoying sometimes, but it works out easier, but she says it's about constantly being left out over others. She has a very open schedule, so it doesn't cause inconvenience. She said she doesn't care about it. It's about feeling hurt. Okay, it doesn't cause inconvenience for you. It doesn't cause inconvenience for you. Just because she has an open schedule doesn't mean that she's just willy-nilly able to change it. Like, you have a lot that goes into that. As someone with, like, anxiety and a lot going on mentally, like, when I make plans, I'm mentally preparing. I'm figuring out what outfit I'm going to wear. I'm saving money for that. Like, there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. And aside from that, it's a dick move. Like, stop doing it. You know it bothers her. You know it makes her feel like she's not a priority. You know it makes her feel like you don't care about her. So why would you continue doing it when she asked you to stop? Full stop. Like, if you cared about her, you would stop doing it, even if you think it's dumb. You can come up with all these excuses. If it bothers her and you love her, you should stop. That's it. Let's read the comments. You're the a-hole. This isn't a one-time thing. You admit you do this constantly. Just because she has an open schedule doesn't mean it's okay to cancel on her, rain check, and essentially make her wait around for your convenience. Imagine this was literally anyone else. Stop taking advantage of your sister just because you live together. That won't always be the case, and someday you're going to look back and regret these missed opportunities. Blood is not thicker than water. If she was a friend and you did this constantly, then she would no longer be your friend. I would hope that she would have enough, self-respect and decency to no longer be your friend. And honestly, I think she should stop hanging out with you, period. She should move out. She should find a new friend. She should find a new family. Because, well, that's a little far. But you know what I mean? That's a lot. You're the a-hole for this, in my opinion. That kind of proves your sister's point. She's saying you aren't prioritizing your relationship with her. You are canceling plans with her over any small thing coming up. And she is right, and she is a very low priority for you. OP hasn't responded to literally any of these, and they're all roasting him. So I'm really hoping that they get the freaking memo. Because, yeah, I hope that they change and learn to respect their sister. Because siblings are super important. And those relationships are fragile, and you should take care of them, because you only get, if you're lucky, you get a sibling. Not everyone has one. So, yeah, I hope that this caused him to realize what the heck is happening. So, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, engagement, all of those things. It's super free, it's super quick, and it really, really, really helps out the podcast. It would mean the world to me. I love you guys so much. Let me know what other Am I the A-hole themes do you want to see? Do you want to see more self-help? What are we thinking for the fall? What's the vibe? Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.